Hey, it's Phila, and you're watching Phila TV, the ultimate YouTube channel. I'm no cinematographer, just a dude with a camera. Anyways, Phila's garden is growing again. That's right. I bought this house a few years ago, and it had this great piece of property behind the garage, and I figured I was going to make a nice vegetable garden here. So, I built a bunch of these garden boxes just without pieces of, 2x4s. And then we had a little garden going. It was pretty nice. I was able to produce, quite a few different things. My tomatoes did really good. And first couple of years was really, really well. But of course, just like everything else, it got out of control. And then before you know it, my little garden was a jungle. I mean, the fig tree just got giant. You see all the figs on there, which attracted rats and squirrels and beetles and birds. And then they started going after my tomatoes. And as you can see, it's a pretty nice looking tomatoes going in there. But as you can see, again, big jungle, big problem, just out of control. So I got kind of tired of this because, it became really muddy. And even though, I produced a lot of great looking vegetables, I just got tired of the mud. And I knew with the rain coming, it just was a lot of work. And I just wasn't enjoying the vegetables as much as I wanted to. And just, like I said, out of control. So I cut everything down, got rid of all the boxes, and I thought I was going to use this piece of property and maybe, like camp back here or do something, and clean it up. But again, it was too much mud. So I laid, paving stones throughout the whole place and made just a patio out of it. And all the wooden boxes I used to make little platforms to put my plumeria garden, all the pots, because I figured it'd be really good drainage. So I had everything lined up and everything was great. And then, all of a sudden it's tomato season. Tomato mania was down the street. And I thought, okay, I'll get just a couple tomatoes and get them planted into these wine barrels here. So using with some conduit that I had laying around, I bent it all up and used some trellis and, made it so this is what I was going to grow my tomatoes in. And then I never got around to buying the barrels, so I took all my wood and I decided I was going to make boxes again. So I nailed everything back together. And I figured each one of these were 6 feet or 8 feet long, and I could make them 18 inches wide. It was perfect. So I lined them with weed guard, then I lined them with cardboard to make a double, thick barrier to keep the weeds out from underneath it, because I took a lot of time to make this piece of the grass here, really good, and I knew it wouldn't be too long until the weeds got out of control. So cleaned it up, put a weed guard, put some cardboard down so it was nice and thick, and then I started adding my soil. Filled it up with all the soil I had, another part of the yard that I used to use for my garden, so it was nice rich soil. Took 3 or 4 wheelbarrow fulls for each one, but I was able to get it filled up pretty quick. And in no time, these tomatoes were ready to go. Wasn't quite sure of the distancing, so I just set the pots in the dirt. As you can see, there's lots of material in that soil. And this one is just barely getting ready to go. So got everything all done. Got all the tomatoes planted in there. Kind of figured out the spacing. And, I'm going to build a trellis up over it for them to climb all over. And I still have this box over here. I guess I'll get some peppers in. Then I started thinking, I've got these neighborhood cats that have been getting in my dirt. And one of the reasons why I got rid of my garden, because I wanted to get rid of all this dirt. So I figured I was going to find a way to keep the cats out. And before you know it, I dug up some fencing that I had sitting around, and I've completely enclosed these garden boxes to keep these cats out. And then as the tomatoes start to grow, I'll be able to lift these cages up and use it as a trellis once I reinforce it. So I think it's a pretty good setup. Each one of these are hinged, so they open and close so I can get into them. So maybe I could put 4 in each box and have plenty of room. And I've also got a bunch of other seeds in the ground. Actually not in the ground, but in pots, because it's just starting to rain here. Like any second it's going to start pouring, so might as well get them in the ground. And that's it. That's going from patio back to garden on Phila TV channel here. Anyways, I hope you like this video. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And remember, you can find me on Instagram at PHILA TV channel. I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks for watching.